So Ludwig just made a video about grading Pokemon cards, and I am an expert in grading, collecting, and investing in Pokemon. And he was wrong about everything. He wasn't wrong about everything, but he was wrong about some things. So let's dive into it. Here's his video about regrading Pokemon cards. I'll just let him say it.
Boys, we have opened a lot of Pokemon cards over the years, and every time we open it, you might notice a little sign that says the value that the card would be if it were PSA 10. If you don't know, PSA is one of many grading companies, and I started questioning the grading system. So today we're gonna find out, is it a scam? Obviously, it's a bit of a scam in the sense of how much they charge you and how long it takes for you to get the card back. Yes. But what I'm actually curious about is the difference amongst the different authenticators. Because you could go to a company like PSA or you could go to a company like Tag, and they use completely different systems to determine the grade of your card. So my question today is, how good are these companies at grading cards? Are there inconsistencies? Are they gonna all be the same? Are they good at their job? Etc.
Now, this is a great idea overall, but there's some initial problems here right off the bat.
So, to find out, we sent about 24, maybe 25 cards to 3 different grading card companies, okay? We got the cards back. We broke the cards open. We took those cards, sent them to Tag, got them graded, noted down the results, broke them, then sent them to PSA. Finally, we sent the cards to PSA. We graded all 25 cards, and those are now sitting in this box.
Stop. Immediately, huge problem with this. So they're sending it to 3 different companies, right? Nothing wrong with that, seeing how each of them grade. The problem here is he's having some random editor crack open 2 or 3 slabs and mail it across the country each time. The amount of damage that could happen to the cards and the likelihood of those cards being damaged is very, very high. I've cracked cards open before, and let me just tell you, there's no really good way to do it. People have all these theories. You can go watch a bunch of videos on how they do it this way or that way. Actually, you know what? I could just show you. So I've got a stack of slabs here that I've graded with PSA. Many of them are 9s, some are 8s, but all of them I think have a shot at being a 10. Take this one, for example, Dark Gyarados Holo from the 25th Anniversary Celebration Collection. Celebrations, Anniversary, whatever. And the only way to get this card out of this slab and send it back in to get regraded without them being biased by looking at the number and saying, yeah, we still agree with ourselves, it's a 9. So the only way to be sure of that is to crack it open. And this is how you do that. Where is my hammer? So some people swear by clippers. They say you clip the edge off and you crack it open that way. I've been grading and cracking slabs with PSA for over 10 years. I started in early 2016. So normally I use a hammer, but today I'm gonna use a bat because I can't find my hammer. So normally what you would wanna do is put a grocery bag or a garbage bag over this to catch all the broken shards of plastic, but you just make sure that the card edge is beyond the point of the desk, as you can see right here, so you don't accidentally crack it, and then you hammer it. Perfect. Look at that. And now there's shards of slab everywhere. So if you want to be an expert like me, that is the real scientific way to do this. But that part doesn't really matter whether you clip off the edge, break with a hammer, whatever you want to do. The next step that you're going to do is take a flathead screwdriver and pop it open like so. And if you do it right, you should be able to pop off the whole front part of the case. So just like this. And then you can even just dump that card out. And now you have the beautiful raw mint Gyarados So as you can see, a lot can go wrong if you don't crack the slab correctly. And oftentimes what will happen, instead of the slab opening like thus, it will splinter down the middle, crack in half. And I have damaged a card or two, only one or two in my entire career of cracking slabs that way, trying to get the card out, and sometimes there's just no way and you end up damaging it. But this is what you want, to the point where it just kind of pulls apart like that. Back to the video.
Guys, as well, my dumb ass did not record the raw cards that we had before sending them to CGC. I just recorded us breaking the slabbed cards out of their slabs. So apologies for not recording them. That's on me, but
yeah, see, so as you can see, he's clipping the cards. Honestly, probably a better way to do it. I just have always used a hammer and never really had any issues with it. But expecting an editor to do this and not damage the cards at all is insane.
once we got those back, we sent them to Tag, and Tag does this cute little booster pack thing. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Okay, CGC to Tag to PSA. That's what we're doing today.
CGC and Tag, I've compiled this video just to show the grades that they got through the process. For PSA, I gave Lud the box of goodies so he can show everybody the grades live rather than finding out through a video. Of all the cards that we sent, there was only one that had this issue. One of the Charizards that we bought was tampered with. You can kind of see it. It's very hard to see in the footage, but if you look at the corners, you can tell that there used to be like whitening.
Okay, right there. So the card was tampered with. Someone had recolored the edges of the card in an attempt to cover up the whitening, like he just mentioned, and all three companies caught it. So that's a good sign right there. Most of these companies, if they're of any reputable size or notability, they're going to be able to catch 99% of things that come through them. Now, a company like PSA that does over 65,000 slabs every single day, some of them are going to leak through, maybe 0.1%. They're going to get graded. Fake cards, altered cards, trimmed cards, whatever it is. And same with all these other companies. The only difference is PSA is going to typically do a better job of catching them because they have more money and more resources. I just want to do a quick shout out and a thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is Guppy. Guppy is a brand new program that just came out recently. They're constantly making new updates for it, but it is essentially a cheap automatic checkout service designed for collectors. There's no proxy servers, fake credit card accounts, or any of that stuff. It's just meant to help you as collectors get a few boxes at MSRP. So if you like getting Pokemon cards at MSRP, go check out Guppy.
On the corners, just from like general wear and tear. It's an older card, but it was painted over. So that card was denied from all three grading services. It was not given a grade with anybody. And of the three services, only CGC actually put it in like a cool case. The other two just said no. They just denied it outright. I don't think we got refunded for that. So it's like $100 per service that we use. So they essentially just...
Oh my God, fucking please subscribe. This is the point of the video where I'm asking you to please subscribe. I promise you this video is made actually less than $0.
Please subscribe to me too. If I cry on camera like Ludwig, you will subscribe. Please do it.
Money on this video, but I think it's a cool experiment. Now, a little bit of context that I don't know if Play will provide. If you don't know, PSA is obviously the biggest card grading company. It's the one you have the highest chance of having heard about. And it's also worth the most. Technically, a Beckett 10 is worth more, but Beckett is owned by PSA, so it's all under the same umbrella. But basically, a PSA 10 is usually the most valuable, okay, because it's the most well-known. CGC is known as kind of the easy grading company, kind of free tens. Like
he's definitely right about this, and actually the data holds up. Again, I just talked about it in the video that I just did, the difference between the grading companies and at which rate they will give a card a 10, a Gem Mint 10. And CGC was the highest. Granted, it wasn't so high. It wasn't like, I don't even remember the exact numbers. It wasn't like 75% 10s to PSA's 50. They were all within about a 5 to 10% spread, but CGC was by far the most lenient on giving out 10s. And the market reflects that. If you go onto eBay and look at PSA 10s versus CGC 10s or BGS 10s, CGC is going to be the cheapest because everybody knows they grade the most leniently.
And then tag's a little different. Actually, really, the tag's my favorite in terms of the way their cards look. I like the clear top. But tag's entire thing is like, we're taking the human element out. AI is going to determine the value of the cards because it's the most consistent across all metrics. And so that they do that. And you can actually, a cool thing with tag because of that is you can scan your card and they'll tell you like 74% left shadowing, 83% right corner is mostly white, like whatever. You know, they try to get very analytical about their grading process.
Oh, the tag bros. Let me just say, I have no issues with tag. I actually really like the slab. It's probably one of my favorite slabs of any grading company because it really makes you hone in on the card itself rather than the slab. I have always, over 10 years that I've been grading with PSA, hated the PSA slab. It just looks childish. And many of you weren't around for this, but if you were, the old slabs looked even worse. It looks like my child drew them on with crayon. And that's just how the label looks. It looks chintzy, it looks awful, but hey, PSA 9 first edition Red Cheeks Pikachu. So I do think tag has the best looking slabs, but they are not the most elite, the best grading company. They're just not. It's all supposed to be automated, AI, whatever that means. But in reality, just because it's really hard to get 10s doesn't make you the best grading card company. Again, I just made a whole video about this, but I'll go into it briefly here. Basically, just because it's really hard to get a 10 doesn't make you the best grading company, but it does make you the most strict. And how tag works is they have essentially automated everything. They take scans, high resolution scans with crazy raking lighting and get all these angles of the card. And you can look at that on their website and adjust the filter to see what damage they're talking about. Now, this is something that they do really well. They tell you exactly why your card, well, you got to pay for it, but they'll tell you exactly why your card got the grade that it did, something that PSA doesn't do, which they absolutely need to start doing. So that's one really good thing about tag, but the problem is that the beauty and the presentation of a card is not 100% objective. There are objective parts to grading a card. We can say a ding on the upper left corner of the back is going to give it minus 0.25 to the overall rating, right? That can be somewhat objective, but at which point does that detract from the actual visual presentation of the card? Like this card is a 9, I think it should be a 10 because I don't really see any visual impairments or visual damage that detracts from the card. Maybe the centering is slightly off. But my point here is that grading cards, despite what people want you to believe, especially the tag bros, is grading is somewhat subjective. Hopefully they can objectively grade it in all the ways that they can, but at a certain point, you need a human grader to say, I understand it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 damages on it, but you can't see any of them and they're all on the back, so we're still gonna give it a 9 or a 10, depending on what they are, because no card is truly flawless. If you get down to the atomic level, every card is damaged in some way. So there is a subjective line that we have to draw somewhere. And I think PSA does that the best because they look at the overall subjective visual presentation of the card and see, okay, should it be a 9? Should it be an 8? Should it be a 10?
Yeah, as far as cards go, that's the only like super weird one. The rest are
some great cards to get graded.
That's it from me.
A bunch of prime cards. I love those.
Card time! Okay, so this card, what?
CGC 7.
Hold the fuck up. I need everyone to pause. Okay, so a Mega Charizard at a PSA 10 is valued at $2,500. A PSA 9 is worth $360. CGC 7 is worth less than $230. It is literally worth more to have it ungraded than it is to have it at a grade 7. How did this happen? I just lost $250 instantly. Okay, let's check tag. What? What did you shit on the card in between shipping? Play, what are we doing? There's not even a price point for a 6. Okay, we may have fucked this one. Son of a...
They admit they damaged the bottom left of this gold Mega Charizard X EX. And yeah, that's just going to happen sometimes when you're cracking slabs.
And our grade is... Wait, what? So they did bend it,
That's
but
actually
interestingly,
kind of insane.
Tag was the strictest of the grading card companies because they gave it a 6. CGC gave it a 7, and PSA gave it an 8. And PSA, bear in mind, is the most valuable of the 3. So the card ultimately, though, went from a $500 card, PSA 9, to a maybe $300 card, PSA 8. On to the next one. So this next card is the Shaman.
I don't really know what to say about that. I don't know how they gave it an 8 with all that damage on the front. I mean, at best, seems like it should be, yeah, PSA 6. They are inconsistent sometimes. That is a good point to mention. They're not perfect. None of these companies are perfect. And you don't want them to be, because what it takes to achieve 100% perfect grades, a 100% success rate, would cost so much money. That last, 1% or 0.1% of quality control costs so much money. It would cost you thousands of dollars per card to grade them, because they'd have to send it through 6 different graders and all these different steps. So you don't really even want them to be that perfect. Granted, you don't want them to mess up your cards either.
So this Shaman was purchased as a PSA 8. We purchased this for $59 as a PSA 8. We sent it into CGC and they came back with an 8. So so far, this is what I expected to have happen. Let's see what Tag graded it. Okay, also an 8. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So we had a PSA 8 that we broke. We sent to CGC, it was an 8. We sent to Tag, it was an 8. And now, you would think but for all intents and purposes, this should just say 8.
All right, so it's a 7. So there is some subjectivity to grading cards. So you will get slightly different grades each time you send a card in, or that's at least a possibility. Now, I have cracked and resent in, I don't know if it's hundreds, dozens, many different cards over the course of longer than a decade. And I've never really sent in a card that was like a 6 and then it came back a 10, or it was a 9 and it came back a 5. That's never really happened. The most change that I've ever had from sending in a card was a change of 1. Usually down, but sometimes up. So I've had like a 7 turn into an 8 turn into a 7, a 6 to a 7, that kind of a thing. The change from a 9 to a 10 is much harder, but definitely possible. So grading a card like this, again, an 8 to a 7 is not really that big of a change. That's basically saying the card's exactly the same condition both times. But again, we don't know, did his editors mess this up? There's no way for us to know. It's very easy. That's the point I'm trying to stress here. It's very easy to damage a card just slightly enough to drop it from an 8 to a 7.
This is part of the reason I think Tag is kind of cool. They give you this information about your card. And so you can see like, okay, yeah, you know what? I see all this sort of white shit. I do think the top is a little bit thinner than the bottom, or maybe the left side's a bit thinner than the right side. It's not the perfect centering. They give you a 360 view of your slab.
Now, this is really cool that Tag tells you all of the dings, the scratches. You get the 3D view of the card. Granted, you got to pay for it. If you just pay for the absolute basic bottom tier grade, you're not going to get any of this information. This is all premium information that you have to pay for. But it's still cool.
He's like a little drunk and he just fucking does one of these. 7. Throws it. And then I'm pretty sure they take a 2 to 4 week break. And then they come back to do one more card, which is why it takes about 4 months to get your cards back. So if you...
4 months would be nice. I have a submission into PSA right now that is going to take at least 9 months. Hopefully I get it back at the beginning of 2027.
What's CGC give us? Oh. Okay, that's okay.
The centering actually looks decent on the front. I mean, obviously not perfect, but it looks okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gave it 1 point higher on.
And again, guys, you're going to have some changes in these grades no matter what. Even though I'm not saying one particular company is being corrupt or shady or, drunkenly. I mean, maybe they do that sometimes. All of these companies have different rubrics and different criteria that they're grading the cards based off of. So it's natural that you're going to have some variance in the grades.
What are your guesses for PSA? Your guesses are as good
my
as
guess
mine.
would be
It
a
literally
9.
could be a 6. It could be a 9.
If Tag gave it 8.5, yeah, there you go. PSA 9.
It's a 9. It's a 9. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're fucking doing. They have no...
And it does feel like that sometimes. When you grade a card, you're just like, these people have no idea what they're doing. Why do I use this company? It's definitely felt like that at times for me. Now, disclosure, I have never graded with any other company other than PSA because I don't really care about PSA or slabs in general, really, for my PC, for my personal collection.
This is our next card. Erica's Hospitality. I would be shocked if this is not a 9.
Oof.
Okay.
CGC 7.
They're drunk at that
The
company.
easiest
Literally
one.
every other company is drunk. It's totally fine. Tag
Let's
is
see,
what
it looks
actually matters.
like
I'm sure with Tag it probably
maybe the borders are a little heavy top to bottom.
Are we looking at the same card?
Tag
Let's take a look. Why did it get a
6.5?
6.5? Oh, the surface.
Probably a hidden dent. Oh yeah, surfacing.
Yeah, look at these lines.
See, okay, as you can see right here with the AI surface filter, whatever, turned all the way up, you can see these scratches and dents and surface wear, but that might not be something that you can see literally at all with the naked eye, which doesn't mean it's not damaged, but it does mean that you can't tell. And so that should play a factor into the grade. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ludwig says he can't see this in person. I wouldn't be surprised if PSA gave it a higher grade. Because of that, they are understanding that grading to a certain degree is subjective.
But when I look at the card IRL, like it looks fine.
There you go.
Well, here's the question.
So my guess is
What did
PSA is going to
give
give it 8, 9. Yeah.
A 9.
And again, it feels like nobody knows what they're doing. It's just random. They're just RNG giving you grades. But in reality, it's the different rubric, the different standards that they have. Tag is objective. And so they go, well, there's scratches on the back, so it's bringing the grade down. PSA guaranteed noticed those scratches and the surface wear on the back. But number one, it's on the back. It doesn't matter as much. And so, of course, it's got quite a bit of damage. It's not going to get a 10. But you can't see any of it. The surface scratches are so light, you can't even see that they're there.
First time, every company got it right. This card is maybe one of our most valuable cards. This is...
Okay, this is one I really want to see.
It's the Umbreon Gold Star.
I have this card in a 10 somewhere.
I'm looking at the card right now, and I genuinely think this might get a 10. Okay. Let's see if we can go 10, 10, 10.
Okay, yeah. If you get a CGC 10, PSA 10, chances are you're going to get a 10 with PSA, but it could be a 9. It really could be. Because again, this is part of the knowledge gap that people aren't aware of. The difference between a 9 and a 10 is so minuscule. It's so slight that it's actually reasonable that one company could say it's a 9 and another say it's a 10.
PSA, do not fuck me on this. It is a Tag 10 and a CGC 10. It has one small ding on the top. It's got perfect corners. The centering's good enough. This should be a 10 from PSA. Do not fuck me now. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
No way.
I want to fucking cry.
No way. And let's be honest, it's good content to just be outraged. It's hilarious. It's a great video.
I think there's a conspiracy theory, and I think there's some credit to the conspiracy that PSA is less likely to give you 10s because of population control. They don't want to start gifting 10s free willy-nilly because then the market's flooded with 10s.
This is actually something I've wondered too. And to be perfectly honest, I'm sure that they do this to some degree. but so do other companies. The only difference is PSA is grading 99% of all Pokemon cards that are being graded. So it's much more noticeable. I've wondered this too. Obviously, we have no way to prove it. But sometimes you're just going, I don't know what you could have possibly seen in this card to not give it a 10. And it seems to happen more the more expensive or the rarer the card is. And this is something that would be fixed if PSA would just implement adding some kind of data or notes to the grade, like Tag does. Something to signify why they're giving you this grade. That would actually appease the masses a lot.
Next card. This is the Umbreon Heart Gold Soul Silver Undaunted. It's a beautiful card. Umbreon cards are usually very expensive. This one is no exception.
Yeah. I like this card a lot.
As a PSA 8. So we had to break open the slab and send it to get regraded.
Again,
This
3
card was
slab cracks.
$500.
Damage?
If you were to get a PSA 10 of this exact card, it would be worth $20,000. Let's see what CGC gave it first. This is for a possible $20,000 card. It was a PSA 8. CGC gives it a 7.5. Tag gives it a 7. Let's see what it got
not good.
from Tag
Not
directly.
good. Here's something to say real quick that is 100% verifiably true, but used to be considered a conspiracy. Their standards have certainly gotten more strict. So I say that because if the PSA 8 that Ludwig originally bought this card in was an old grade, it will receive a lower grade. Now that's not RNG, that's just their standards have changed, which again sucks, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Let me show you, one of these cards. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but this is the 9 Red Cheeks Pikachu. And if you look at the corners here, you can see a decent bit of whitening to the point where this card should definitely not be a 9. It definitely would not get a 9 today. But if you look at that cert number, it's an old cert number. I graded this card, I don't know, pre-2018 probably. And so, yeah, this is an old grade. So they were much more lax.
Tag gives it a 7. Let's see what it got from Tag directly. Why did it get a 7? Yeah, the front surface has a bunch of cracks here. And then there's a fuck ton of dings. Holy shit, look at the dings. The biggest issue with it to me is the surfacing. If surfacing is its main issue, and it got a bad grade from CGC and Tag, we should see our highest grade from PSA. Now, PSA already graded this card an 8. So if they're good at the job, it should be an 8 again.
Yeah, so quite possibly an old grade that he cracked it. And especially because he said he got a really good deal on this card. That's probably because it was an old cert number and everybody knows the market approves of this conspiracy theory that I have. And the market shows that if you buy an old cert, a lot of times it'll sell for a little bit less than a new cert.
More valuable One Piece card coming up. This card was a crazy poll. This was from the Gamble website. This card is worth $1,700. I'm talking about the Porcus the Ace.
I don't know
manga.
anything about One
It
Piece.
is our
Sorry.
most valuable card. PSA 10 is worth over $3,000. And I think this...
That's
could get a 10. I have
insane.
no clue. I genuinely have no clue what it's worth. Let's find out.
Oh, a pristine 10. Oh!
Our first pristine 10. So this is the crown jewel that CGC can give. Unmute the audio.
Now, maybe he'll go into this in the video, I'm not sure. But the CGC Pristine 10 oftentimes will sell for a premium over the PSA 10 because the regular CGC 10, everybody knows, is much easier to get, much more lenient than the PSA 10. It's kind of like a tier list, right? You've got CGC 10, PSA 10, and then the Pristine 10 generally is better condition than just a regular PSA 10.
No. What is this song?
Hey, Ludwig, there's been an accident. I don't know how this happened. All
Oh!
I fucked it. I botched it. This thing went from a perfect black label 10 to a 9. Yes,
Oh!
sir, has been fucking murdered. All I can really tell is when I ripped the slab open, it looks like the corner ding.
There it is. There it is, boys. GG's. GG's. What did I tell you?
In the CGC slab, and it created this microscopic. It is it's genuinely the smallest ding I have ever seen in my life, and that takes it to a 9 from what
That can happen. That can happen, boys, if you're cracking slabs.
All around perfect card. As an apology, there's a cool Porygon in the box that I bought with my own money. It's all yours. It's all yours, buddy. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
What's it gonna get? What's it gonna get from PSA? What's it gonna get? Show us. Yeah. Oh, that's sad. Poor Ludwig. Crying in all of his money.
This one is first edition. It is
Ooh, that's a pretty card. That's pretty, boy.
Okay. CGC with the highest grade again. They give it a 9. Tag.
Oh,
9.
tag 9.
Okay, wait.
See, okay. If I was doing this, actually, I don't know what I would do. I was going to say I would just keep it in the tag 9 and sell it as that. But actually, I probably wouldn't. I would probably gamble for the 10.
Hold up. This actually could make money here. Tag gave it a 907, which is just over the line for a 9. The centering's actually really good for this card. I think the issue is going to come from some surfacing issues. The biggest issue seems to be the back corners, which I think is pretty clear to everyone, right? This corner looks pretty bad. This corner looks pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what does PSA give?
I can't actually believe I got a 9 with that top left. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. I would not be surprised if this got less than a 9 at PSA. Yep. Old cert.
What?
Old cert. And you know it's an old cert because of the 0.5. I used to have some cards that had the 0.5 grade, was 7.5, 9.5, 8.5. PSA doesn't do that anymore. So if you have an 8.5, you automatically know it's an old cert. Meaning if you regrade it, it's likely going to come back a harsher grade. Also, can we just talk real quick about Ludwig's headphones here? What are we doing, dude? What are we doing? You know you can unwind those, bro.
Our final card today, boys. It's the grail of Pokemon card collecting.
Oh, what is it? Charizard. Base set Charizard.
The version you've seen the most.
Base set Charizard?
Our final card today.
It's probably Celebrations
It's going to
Charizard.
be that Charizard. It is a base
set 2.
Holo Charizard.
This Charizard base set 2 actually low-key goated because of the difference in the holo pattern. The base set 2 holo pattern popped much more than the original base set. Way cooler, way more beautiful than the original base set. I don't like the 2 though, so.
It is obviously not as valuable as a first ed or even a base set. This Charizard at a PSA 10 is worth $12,000.
Oh my goodness. Ugh. I remember when base set 2 Charizards would sell for like $100, and it wasn't even that long ago.
CGC gives it a 7. We're up.
Oh, look at that swirl on the bottom. Oh, that's nice holo. Ooh.
Good, bro.
That's 1 point off a 6.5, no?
That's bad.
Not good.
It's got bad centering. It's got an edge ding, 2 corner dings, 3 surface dings. We're fucked. It started as a 6.
It's probably going to be a PSA 7 would be my
PSA
guess.
Actually consistent.
Let's see. Yeah, PSA 7.
Let's go!
Well, there it is, boys. Thanks, Ludwig, for doing that for us, so I don't have to do it and damage all my cards. Those were all of the problems with Ludwig's analysis and his misunderstanding of grading. There actually is some correlation between the grading companies. Now, you're not going to get the same grade, 7s across the board, but in general, there is some correlation. Okay, you got a 6 and a 7 at TAG and CGC, like we just saw. Well, you're probably going to get a PSA 7. And if you appreciate what I'm doing, please like, comment, and of course, subscribe. That's about it. Peace.